In League of Legends, many players have been doing the blue build on Ezreal. On today's episode of LoL Math, we'll be explaining exactly what the build is and how beneficial it can be when compared to pure attack damage. Let's take a look at the build now. The main blue build items are the Spirit of the Lizard Elder, Iceborne Gauntlet, Myrrh Mana, Last Whisper, and Ionian Boots of Lucidity. To keep things simple, we'll assume Ezreal is level 18 in the following calculations. These items will grant Ezreal's auto attack an extra 155.9 damage. His abilities will be granted an extra 161.9, 24, 22.5, and 182.9 damage. Finally, the effects on the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, Iceborne Gauntlet, and Myrrh Mana will deal an extra 40, 101.2, and 152.7 damage when Ezreal is at full mana. One should keep in mind that the Spirit of the Elder Lizard deals true damage, and the Iceborne Gauntlet and Myrrh Mana deal physical damage, meaning the latter two items will benefit from the Last Whisper's armor penetration. Based on pure damage, one is being granted 841.1 total damage with this build, not taking armor or magic resistance into account. Now let's take a look at the damage per second this build grants. Ezreal's auto attack will deal 144.21 extra damage per second with the blue build. Since the blue build grants cooldown reduction, we now need to look at the base damage values on Ezreal's abilities. We'll be adding the base damage per second using the following formula. The ability's base damage divided by the ability's cooldown with cooldown reduction being applied, minus the ability's base damage divided by the ability's default cooldown. In other words, if an ability deals 10 damage per second normally, but deals 12 damage per second with cooldown reduction, we'll be adding 2 damage per second to our final value. The blue build will grant Ezreal's abilities an extra 91.37, 19.06, 11.06, and 7.9 damage per second. The items will deal 13.33, 63.25, and 140.48 damage per second, assuming Ezreal is at full mana and has his level 18 attack speed. Based on pure damage per second, one is being granted 490.66 total damage per second with this build, not taking armor or magic resistance into account. Now that we know how much damage and damage per second the blue build does, let's see how it compares to building pure attack damage. While it is somewhat inaccurate, for the sake of the test, we'll assume Ezreal can spend 10,650 gold, the cost of the blue build, on pure attack damage. This will grant him 266.25 attack damage. Across his auto attack and abilities, Ezreal will be granted an extra 798.75 damage with this build, 42.35 less total damage than the blue build. If we take damage per second into account, Ezreal will deal an extra 314.91 damage per second with this build, 175.75 less damage per second than the blue build. Overall, when compared to building pure attack damage on Ezreal, the blue build will deal 42.35 more total damage and 175.75 more damage per second, not taking armor or magic resistance into account. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to be informed whenever I release new videos. Click the annotation on the screen if you'd like to see the previous LoL Math episode. You can also like LoL Math on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and join the community on Reddit. Thanks for watching this episode of LoL Math.